Hi, it's May here. How do you sell your ideas? You know, when you've got that great project or that terrific idea and you want other people to say yes. Well, a client of mine, let's call her Jane, had a situation like this when she had a big change management project and needed to get a whole series of people on board. And my client John, he had a situation like this when he was wanting to negotiate his raise with his boss, but wasn't sure it was going to work out. So whether it's an internal situation, a proposal to a client, or simply getting a partner to want to go to the gym, I want to share with you 7 things you can do to be more effective. The first one is to stop selling. Selling in the dictionary means to give or hand over something in exchange for money. So no wonder people don't like to be sold to, and no wonder it feels transactional. And this was Jane's big aha, where she realized that she needed to stop selling the idea so hard. Second is don't psych yourself out, because then you won't even have the conversation. And that's where John was heading when he said, my boss is never going to say yes. Should I even talk to him? Of course you should have the conversation. We all want to live a no regrets life, and that means taking every action you can and doing everything you can, and then after that you can let the result be the result. Then the third is, as you're doing all this, you want to be really clear on what is your goal for the situation. Is your goal to get people to say yes on the spot? Sometimes that's tough to achieve. Or is it to start to get buy-in? Or is it to simply get people to understand your point of view and have an open mind and consider your point of view? So just get clear on what your goal is. Then fourth, you want to sit on the same side as the other person. And that's figuratively as you're preparing your case. And that means that you are thinking about it from their perspective. What's in it for them? What kind of dialogue is already going on in their own head, in their minds on the subject? And make sure you align with that and be cognizant of that. And then literally sit on the same side. When you're in the room with them, I really like the idea of sitting side by side or diagonally across. I think they call it kitty corner. And rather than across a big table, which seems very distant and much more confrontational. Then fifth, you want to give them a reason. People are much more likely to help each other and be open when they understand why. So if you can state that why from the other person's perspective, all the better. Jane could talk about it in terms of, when this project goes forward, your team will then be on the cutting edge of knowing everything there is to know about this new development. Or John could say, acknowledge that his boss is going to be his main advocate, thank him for that, and say, look, I just wanted to help you make the case. So now, number 6 is about making the case. And that's what I call paint the picture. And when you're painting the picture, you want to be coming from a place of asking, listening, and sharing rather than telling and selling, which doesn't work nearly as well. And you also want to be making the case in a format or in a mode that is really comfortable for you, and also do it in a way that takes into account how the other person likes being communicated to. So for example, John is a much more confident and fluid writer than he is a speaker, especially in a tricky situation. So he decided he was going to write out all the facts in the case and give that to his boss before they started talking. So at a minimum, all the information would be there. But he knew his boss had a very short attention span, so he did it in bullet points instead of long sentences, and that worked well. And then finally, number 7 is you want to know how to close out the conversation. If you've achieved your goal, which is why it's so important to know what it is, then just say thank you and stop talking. In fact, you probably want to just get up and leave gracefully. On the other hand, if you've hit a brick wall, then I like to ask a question like, what would it take for this to be a good idea from your perspective? Or what would need to be true? What would need to happen in order for your team to support this idea? You get a lot of good information that way. So whether it's at work or in the rest of your life, We are all going to have a lot of situations where we want other people to say yes to our ideas. What I'd like to know now is, what are your best strategies for getting people to say yes? What works for you in making that sale? Scroll on down and leave a comment. And by the way, if you haven't signed up for my blog yet, please head on over to maybusch.com, and I'd love to welcome you there. There'll be lots more blogs, insights, and advice on leadership and career success.